Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. We're talking to attorney Rachel Bell, who is the successful candidate for the Democratic nomination for judge in the General Sessions Court in Nashville, Tennessee, and Davidson County. And of course, Attorney Bell, I think you mentioned earlier that you became involved in your quest to be a judge primarily because of your desire to serve the public. Let's talk about some of the public activities that you've been involved in that you think would certify you in a real sense to occupy that position that you're running for now. Let's talk about some of those activities.
Well, like I said earlier, I have always wanted to give of myself to work in the community. And so when I first came back home, I got involved with the Bordeaux Business Coalition. Also was able and had an opportunity to work on the board of Hands on Nashville, which I currently serve now. I've served on the board of Women in Numbers. I've served on the board of Disciples Village, which is a senior citizens home, where now I'm the board president. I've also served a number of different organizations, the Nashville Black Chamber of Commerce. You name it, I've tried to be involved. I also served on the Industrial Development Board for Davidson County, was appointed by the council to do that for a year, fulfilling somebody else's term. And so I've been very committed to working within Davidson County and working within the community. With kids, I've served as a volunteer coach for ages 7 through 9, where I coach kids basketball, girls and boys. I also have a mentorship and internship program that I created at my office that I started when I first started practicing in 2005. And I also, 2 years ago, started a scholarship fund that I fund myself that I give to 2 individuals, one that's type 1 diabetic and one that was an individual that has graduated from high school that lived in North Nashville. And so at the age of 13, I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I had the opportunity to serve for the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital as a youth ambassador. And I served as a youth ambassador from the age of 13 to 18. Before I went off to college. And then in college, I worked with the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and I've always committed myself to being a public servant and doing everything that I could to inspire and encourage other people with obstacles or with circumstances. And so over the years, I've gone to schools to talk to children, to read to children, and to inspire them to know that if they get educated and do their best, they'll be quite fine. And so the last few weeks, I've had the opportunity to go to Park Elementary. I've also gone to Jones Padilla. I've also gone to, I can't remember all the schools right now, but off the top of my head, I've gone to several schools since I've won the election, even before the election, just talking to the kids, reading to the kids. And now, as soon as I walk in the room, they say, "Ring the bell for justice." And I'm, they're in 4th grade, I say, "What does that mean to you?" And well, we think that means being fair. We think that means working hard. And we think, that means that if we do our part, then the court system and the community will stand behind us. And so I had an awesome opportunity to talk to kids and to inspire them and to love on them and, help them realize that they can be anything they want to be as long as they commit themselves.
Let me raise this question. Are you a community organizer? And I think that if we can say you're a community organizer, we might have you running for the presidency of the United States. But really, I think that's a very impressive record of public service, and I think it's well worthy of being a judge, you see. And I certainly appreciate that kind of information. I'm not sure that all of the people who voted for you understood that kind of connection, your public service. That's a real thing. You've been involved in the public from, well, since the age of 13, in a real sense, and so you're really just continuing your public activity. Now, to be a judge in the public, in the General Sessions Court, exactly where does that court fit within the framework of the county court system?
Well, like I said earlier, General Sessions Court is the people's court. It's the first impression that a number of people will have with breaking the law or any of the judicial system. And so General Sessions Court is a court that you would go if you want to have a hearing regarding you having a traffic violation. If you own some property and you have a Metro Codes violation for not manicuring the property, keeping it up to codes. That's also the court you would come before if you've made some minor mistakes, misdemeanors or felonies, as well as DUIs. It's also the court you would come before if you are dealing with a landlord-tenant dispute, if you're a landlord and needing to evict an individual for not making payment, if you're a tenant and you believe your landlord hasn't, kept up with the habitableness of the property and keeping it proper, within health code, so that you can enjoy, your livelihood within that apartment or that house. Debt collection, credit card companies come after individuals within that court to collect debts. There are personal injury, traffic accidents where individuals will come to that court. And the civil realm is under the threshold of $25,000. So any action or lawsuit that you want to take that you're not trying to pursue more than $25,000, you will come before General Sessions Court. And so General Sessions Court is also a place where domestic violence matters are heard. There are a number of different, array of gamut of different areas of law that are practiced in General Sessions Court, and I've had a lot of experience working in all of the courts within Davidson County. Just today alone, I was in General Sessions Court this morning, I was in 4th Circuit Court, I was in 8th Circuit, and I was in Probate Court. And so those are all the courts that are within Davidson County. The only court I wasn't in this morning was in Chancery Court. And so, and I'll be in Chancery Court in a couple of weeks, but I've practiced in all the courts in Davidson County, and I'm very hopeful, and I do believe that I have a good level of understanding as far as what it takes to render justice, to be fair, to be respectful, and to be patient. I've had to do that with the practice of law, representing my clients. And some clients, they're great clients, and some clients, don't have as much patience, and so they're testing the patience of the lawyer or the people that are working for them, and you just have to be patient and try to do your very best. And so I plan to make sure that I'm patient and to respect each one and each individual that comes before the court before any judgments are rendered. And so
so you're doing this last minute of this segment, so you're really out ringing the bell for justice. That's what it means when you say ring the bell for justice is
just making sure that the individual that you put on the bench, and while I think all the candidates that ran in the primary were very well qualified, ringing the bell for justice is making sure that Davidson County is fairly represented. And so there are a number of people that know in General Sessions Court right now there's only one African American judge, there are 4 female judges, and so if elected in the general election in August, I will be the 2nd African American judge out of 11 and the 5th female judge. And so ringing the bell for justice is making sure that we have equality within women, within minorities. And so I'm the candidate that will be able to bring that along with my qualifications, my skill set, and I'm very prepared to be fair, to be just. And I understand the law on both sides, the civil and the criminal side. And so I'm hopeful, and I'm looking forward to serving the community and making sure that they're very proud and they have a huge amount of confidence in me. And I'm not going to let Davidson County down. Very good. And of course, Attorney Bell, let's take this second commercial break, and then we'll come back and give you an opportunity to talk about what you are planning on doing in terms of trying to be successful in the end. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.